The last theorist is Erikson, and his theory is presented in a psychosocial stage group, which are based on a crisis or conflict related to milestones with someone's social development. Each of these stages reflects that crisis or conflict with two possible outcomes for that. And unlike Piaget's theory, Erikson's theory believed that individuals can bounce back and forth from each stage and come back to a stage once they're in adulthood. So you can mix and match and go through different stages throughout your life. The first stage of his theory, though, is trust versus mistrust, which begins at birth and ends around age 1. But there is one situation that the theorists do not discuss, and I think it has a lot to do with the outcome of the child, which is the environment of the fetus, what the mother was in, the environment, and how the mother felt. And all of these stages didn't really discuss pre-birth or before the birth of the child. And for myself, my mother and my father, they were actually not expecting me. I was actually their second child. However, my mom carried what was to be my older brother for about 8 months, a year before I was born. And she had lost that child. She had had a miscarriage. And so my parents were not really looking to have another child. But I was actually a surprise. And so the state of the first couple of months where my mom did not know she was pregnant, there was of course there was alcohol involved. My mom's an avid smoker. So my mom and my dad were living as if they were not pregnant. And I think once they found out they were pregnant, a sense of anxiety came over them. So with that anxious environment, on top of the sense that they just did not know, created a little bit of a milestone for me to overcome, especially now that I'm getting a little bit older. But despite that, with Erikson's theory, the first stage of trust and mistrust is solely based on affection. This is most likely the most important stage in the lifespan because that affection is so important. And my parents were very loving. Even though my dad, like I said, did go out of town, I was definitely a daddy's girl on the weekends, and so my dad really tried to make up for that lost time during the weekend when he was home. And of course, my mom was always there. She was a stay-at-home mother, and I was an only child, so I gained a lot of affection. I'm the only grandchild on my mother's side, so there was a lot of positives for me in the sense of affection. I was given a lot of love and a lot of care and a lot of time, really to show me now in the later stages that I matter, and how the sense of trust has really embedded in me. However, at that age when I didn't understand, when my dad was leaving, there is a skewed of mistrust in my life too. At that age I didn't understand that object permanence, which in the first theorist, in Piaget's theory, he discusses, but I didn't understand that. And so there was a little bit of mistrust that came into play, and I think that does also play into the effects of my afterlife later on in stages. But again, my parents did give me a lot of time and a lot of care and a lot of love, which is very important in this stage, and it gives a sense of security and allows me to learn trust, and it allowed me to learn that people are there for me, and it's really important, which I think is a reason that I have been able to trust people. And even if they do hurt me, I am still able to trust, because not everybody's going to do you wrong. And I think because my parents put so much time into loving me, especially at that beginning stage, it really helped me later on in life to be able to trust and to be able to love unconditionally without any remorse. There might be a sense of mistrust in my life too. I think I might trust a little too easily, but that is something that has to be worked out, and that does work out, especially in my later stages in life, and even later in the future of my life. But without the love and affection, I wouldn't be where I am today, in trusting people and loving unconditionally.